Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and welcome to another Let's Talk. In this episode, the skills tree. So, as you know, pretty much every mech has the exact same skill tree when it comes to things. So the mislinks here, if you hit mech tree, all this stuff is the exact same as if I went to, say, an assault mech, hit my wall, I had a mech that I have, is use, hit mech tree, and boom. Mech tree, exact same thing. Exact same bonuses and all that stuff. So, a couple things I'd like to see changed on the mech tree. First one is a decision. You pick A or you pick B, and that's it. You pick A, you lose B. If you pick B, you lose A. It's kind of a thing that's been making a good round for the last little while when it comes to selections and things like that, where you get a selection of one or two different things, hell, even three or four things, and you pick one. You pick one, the other ones go away. The next one, it's random. You get to pick one of four again. So I would like to see something along the lines of, your first one, you get to pick one of these four. But it also does a little bit more, for example. So the cool run, which is this one right here, it increases your heat dissipation, or the amount you bleed off your heat, to by an additional 7.5%. So basically, you're more efficient with this one. Now, heat containment, this increases your threshold, right? Your maximum amount your actual mech can take before you shut down. That increases by 10%. If you get these two, which is obviously a primary thing everyone wants to get in their mechs at the beginning, it's a good thing, right? But what if they turn around and said, okay, with the new skill tree, cool run is now 10%. So, increase your heat dissipation by 10%. Or you can do heat containment for 15%. But it's one or the other. It's not both. Then, next one is twist speed versus twist X. Right? Like, it'll give you two different things. You have to pick one or the other. It does more, but you only get to pick a certain amount, right? I also like to see more variety as well. Things to do with the computer systems, targeting, weapon-specific quirks or skills, for example. If you know there's skills specifically containing to that mech. So, for example, for the light mechs. So, for example, one of the light mechs here, the Raven. Where are you, Raven? Here. Raven 3L here. It has ECM, right? One of the things, sorry about that, one of the things I would like to see on this is some sort of ECM-esque skill. Something that boosts the strength of my ECM, the distance, the length, its efficiency, its effectiveness. I would like to see something like that. With something like, I keep hitting the goddamn mech bay. With an assault mech, for example. Something I'd like to see something to do with its ability to put down rounds down range, for example. So the Mauler, right? Its skill tree, it does have, I think it's fast fire. But what if fast fire did just a little bit more than 5%? What if you had multiple levels of fast fire you could do, right? Multiple different skills that have a bigger impact, but more of a positive and negative, for example. So, fast fire, you fire faster, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna heat up a lot better, a lot better, bigger, right? So what if it had something like fast fire ballistics at 7%, and then fast fire lasers, for example, or it actually had a specific cooldown, like a specific large laser cooldown, AC2, AC5 cooldown, forcing you down a specific path. Now, mind you, also you could build out your mech knowing what skills are available, right? But you can't because they're random. So every day you go in there, it's a different one, which I think is pretty good, right? So that's one of the... Do I have enough to unlock this? I do, but I'm not using my GXP for that. So that's something I would like to see, something that can unlock those skills, kind of give it a bit of a bigger tree, a more in-depth tree, and a more effective tree. Because right now, half the time I forget about the skills tree, to be honest with you. Yeah, it does a lot as the multipliers go, but after a certain amount of time, it kind of, I don't know, you forget about it. You don't feel it's that important when it comes to time and time to play, to ratio. Now, another thing I'd like to see is a modification of the pilot trees when it comes to the skills as well. So, for example, for all the weapon skills, quote unquote, I would like to see these kind of molded into the mechs themselves instead. Because certain mechs should be able to do certain things better, right? So, for example, AC-20 range. That should be a skill that I should be available to just mechs that can run in AC-20, right? Why do I have to unlock it for everybody? So, theoretically, have an AC-20 for specific mechs. So, for my Hunchback 2C here. So, a Clan AC-20 on this guy would make sense. Clan Ultra 20 on this thing would also make sense. So, I load in one day, I hit the weapon button, and it pops up with the random skill for that day. And it's, it's an AC2 or an AC5. It's like, well, don't run AC2s or 5s on my Hunchback 2CC here, so I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. Load in tomorrow. Sure enough, it's a Ghost or it's an AC20. It's an AC20 or Ultra 20. I buy that upgrade and I unlock it. That would be under the regular skills tree. Because right now I find this a little overwhelming at times, especially when I first started playing. Like, there's just so much stuff here. And it's like, well, I don't use half this stuff. So, what's the point, right? So, that's just something that I think needs to be looked at. I know they are redoing the skill tree right now. But, yeah, it's something I think they need to kind of redo, rebuild, rework it. Like, I know there's the filter options here, but, weapons with the cooldowns, ranges, and miscellaneous. But I think they need to kind of specify mechs, right? Like, not every mech has AMS or narc. But here I've got to spend GXP that I learned for all my mechs on this. So if you kind of got rid of GXP a little bit and just made it just XP and put the skill tree out there and said, okay, so you spend your XP on your mech, on all the upgrades, and it's all random. Now, it's only random to that specific mech. So, for example, the 2CC here, it's not going to get, inner sphere, skills popping up randomly. It'll have mech-specific, weapon-specific, things coming up. It also can then modify your quirks too, right? Because then that would be almost like you giving your mech its own quirks, which would be, in my eyes, a good replacement in the skills. Because that means you played a mech so good that you should be more proficient in it than anybody else. Right? So if you paid, a couple thousand hours in a Hunchback 2CC here, theoretically, you should be better than everybody else. You should have some sort of bonuses. So what I think you should be able to do is unlock additional skills as time goes on with it as well. Have skills that take a lot to unlock. But also have compounding skills. So, you can get a AC2 range, and even how, and I'm kind of all over, but with the modules here, right? You can get weapon modules that you unlock through your skills and all that stuff. If you got rid of this and said, okay, here's the deal. You can have a maximum of 3 weapon skills and 2 mech skills that you unlock through the skills tree in here somewhere. After it's been reworked and modified and changed up a little bit. That would be good. I would like to see it do something like that. And kind of streamline this. So you have the usual, one goes down, it splits into 2, and you get pick left or right. There you go. Next one, next one, next one. And it's going to be constantly split, right? But then also have multiple different chains. So have like a systems. So like sensor systems, computer systems, communication systems on the left. Mech systems on the right, and other systems in the middle. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking today. See you guys.